Russia's front line has suddenly buckled. Unexpected, fast, and shocking. Ukraine's new strategic move has changed the entire momentum of the battlefield, leaving analysts stunned and soldiers scrambling. What exactly happened? How did one maneuver trigger such a dramatic collapse? Stay with us as we break down every detail of this major turning point. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's update covers one of the most surprising shifts in the ongoing conflict, Russia's front line experiencing a sudden collapse after Ukraine launched a well-timed and precisely coordinated operation. Over the past few days, multiple reports and frontline observations have suggested that Ukrainian forces executed a new maneuver that put intense pressure on a vulnerable stretch of Russia's defensive line. What makes this development so significant is the speed at which the situation changed. Troops positioned in key areas reportedly withdrew faster than expected, creating unexpected gaps that Ukraine quickly exploited. This sudden change shocked not only observers, but also many who believed this sector would remain stable. In this video, we'll break down how this move unfolded, what caused the rapid collapse, and how it could impact the broader conflict moving forward. So let's get into the details and understand the full picture. The first major element behind the sudden collapse was Ukraine's use of improved intelligence and battlefield awareness. Sources suggest that Ukrainian units had been monitoring Russian troop rotations and studying weak spots in the defensive layout for several weeks. Once they identified a sector where Russian forces were overstretched, Ukraine launched a concentrated attack designed to overwhelm the limited unit stationed there. The timing played a huge role. Ukraine moved precisely when Russian reinforcements were delayed, allowing them to break through more quickly than anticipated. This unexpected push caused confusion among frontline units, forcing them to pull back before a stable defense line could form. As a result, Ukrainian forces gained momentum rapidly, pushing deeper and taking control of tactical positions that had remained contested for months. The success of this approach shows how strategic planning and intelligence can create significant battlefield advantages when used at the right moment. Another reason the front line collapsed so quickly was the condition of Russian defenses. Reports indicate that some fortifications in the targeted area were incomplete or weakened due to previous engagements, while Russia had established trenches, firing positions, and minefields across many regions. This particular stretch had suffered from limited maintenance and reduced troop numbers. When Ukraine applied pressure, these defenses simply couldn't hold. Soldiers stationed there weren't fully prepared for a large-scale push, and when the fighting intensified, they were forced to retreat to avoid being surrounded. This retreat created even larger gaps, which allowed Ukraine to advance with less resistance. Once a defensive network starts collapsing in one area, the entire line becomes unstable. That's exactly what happened here. One weak segment triggered a broader breakdown. This shows the importance of consistent reinforcement and why any weakness on the front line can quickly turn into a major setback. Ukraine's new battlefield move also relied heavily on speed and maneuverability. Instead of spreading their forces thin, Ukrainian commanders concentrated highly mobile units, armored vehicles, infantry groups, and drone-guided teams in a coordinated wave. Drones played a crucial role by providing real-time updates, allowing Ukrainian forces to move around obstacles, strike weak positions, and avoid unexpected ambushes. This combination of mobility and information created a fast-moving attack that Russia struggled to counter. Many Russian soldiers were caught off guard by the rapid tempo, and once the forward units fell back, communication broke down. Ukraine then continued pressing forward, taking advantage of every opening. This style of warfare focuses on overwhelming an opponent before they can regroup, and in this case, it worked effectively. The success of this maneuver shows how modern battlefields are increasingly shaped by speed, coordination, and technology rather than sheer numbers alone. One of the most surprising outcomes of Ukraine's move was the scale of confusion it caused behind Russian lines. When the front line starts collapsing, units behind it must adjust quickly to avoid encirclement or loss of equipment. However, reports suggest that communication delays and unclear orders created additional chaos. Some units reportedly withdrew earlier than planned, while others held their positions without knowing that the line beside them had already collapsed. This lack of coordination allowed Ukrainian troops to capture ground faster than anticipated. It also forced Russian units to reposition in a hurry, leaving behind equipment and defensive gear. Such disorder has a ripple effect across the battlefield, lowering morale and slowing down the formation of a new defensive line. These kinds of breakdowns can turn a small breach into a major loss, and that's exactly what seems to have happened during this sudden shift. As Ukraine advanced, they focused on capturing high-value tactical positions, elevated areas, crossroads, and supply nodes. These spots are critical because they provide visibility, control over troop movements, and advantages for artillery placement. By securing these key points early, Ukraine made it harder for Russian forces to mount a quick counterattack. Every battlefield relies on strong logistics, and once Ukraine disrupted supply routes, Russian units struggled to receive ammunition and reinforcements. This further contributed to the collapse, as frontline soldiers were forced to conserve resources. Ukraine also used this advantage to intensify pressure, rotating fresh units into the fight while Russia faced delays. Securing these tactical positions not only strengthened Ukraine's immediate gains, but also prevented Russia from rebuilding their defenses quickly. This highlights how important geography and positioning are when trying to change the momentum of a conflict. Another key factor behind Ukraine's success was the expanding use of advanced drones and precision systems. These tools helped identify vulnerable areas, track troop movements, and target defensive positions accurately. By striking command points, ammunition depots, and communication hubs, Ukraine disrupted Russia's ability to coordinate a fast response. At the same time, smaller drones provided continuous surveillance, guiding infantry and armored vehicles safely through dangerous areas. This minimized losses and kept the offensive moving smoothly. While drones have been used by both sides throughout the conflict, Ukraine's ability to integrate them into a coordinated attack has become increasingly effective. The combination of technology and timing proved decisive in this operation. As drone warfare evolves, moments like this demonstrate how much modern conflicts depend on real-time information and precision, often giving a smaller or more agile force a major advantage. The collapse also revealed growing challenges within Russia's military structure. Maintaining long defensive lines requires consistent manpower, supplies, and morale. However, recent reports suggest that some units have been stretched thin, rotating frequently, or operating with limited resources. When Ukraine launched their new move, these stressed units faced overwhelming pressure they couldn't manage. Additionally, uncertainty from previous setbacks may have lowered morale, making soldiers more likely to withdraw when the situation worsened. Battlefield stress accumulates, and once surrender or retreat begins in one section, nearby units often feel the impact. This psychological effect plays a major role in large-scale collapses. Ukraine's operation seems to have triggered a combination of physical and psychological strain on Russian forces, pushing them beyond their limit at a crucial moment. The broader impact of this collapse is significant. Ukraine's breakthrough could influence future strategies, negotiations, and battlefield decisions. By gaining momentum, Ukraine now has opportunities to expand their control, reinforce newly captured ground, and push toward areas that were previously difficult to reach. Analysts believe this shift might cause Russia to commit more resources to stabilize the line, which could strain their logistics further. On the international stage, such developments often affect military support, alliances, and diplomatic conversations. When one side gains a sudden advantage, global actors take notice and reassess their positions. While it is too early to predict the long-term consequences, this moment marks a turning point that could shape the next phase of the conflict. The coming weeks will reveal whether Ukraine can maintain this momentum or if Russia will recover and fortify their positions again. As we wrap up this analysis, one thing is clear: Ukraine's new move has made a dramatic impact on the battlefield, and Russia's sudden frontline collapse shows how quickly momentum can shift in modern conflict. The combination of precise timing, technological integration, tactical planning, and persistent pressure created an advantage that Ukraine successfully turned into rapid territorial gains. This event highlights the importance of adaptability and intelligence in shaping outcomes on the ground. Moving forward, both sides will likely adjust their strategies based on this major development. Ukraine may attempt to build on their momentum, while Russia will work to reinforce weakened sectors and restore stability. We'll continue monitoring the situation closely and provide updates as new information arrives. If you found this breakdown informative, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.